Well, I'm RJ. I'm here with Randy from Purple Haus, and I'm here with a bit of randomness. And how you doing today, Randy?
I'm great. I'm doing
Great?
great, man.
Perfect.
Busy, but great.
Cool. Everybody's busy all the time.
Yeah.
And I like what you guys are doing with Purple Haus and everything. You guys have like an interesting concept where you're bringing beer and music, even though beer and music has pretty much been one ever since the beginning of time.
Right.
But what are you guys doing differently with beer and music?
And that's the thing. It's not necessarily crazy different, right? And the best thing about being an entrepreneur is that you don't necessarily need the best ideas in the world. It's how to expand on the ones that are already good and out there, right?
Very true.
So as you said, music and beer have been going together forever, right? And this actually just kind of came about. We started doing a lot of home brewing at this little house called, of course, the Purple Haus. Just this purple little house out on the east side over here that we a couple buddies lived at. And I had to think of something to do for a practicum thing for the E&B program. So just a bachelor's program here at MI. They do outside source stuff where they end up asking you to kind of go out into the world and do your own thing as well, so they can help you along. So in that concept, my buddies were like, "Oh well, we've always talked about let's get a recording studio / brewery together." It's like, well, that seems kind of weird. How are we gonna do that?
Different.
And I was like, well, let's just tackle it. Let's just try and tackle it with this. I got these 4 semesters to make the best out of this that I can, and let's go for it. And since then, we've been just hitting it hard, doing brewing every week. And it's all homebrew stuff. We haven't gotten the legalities figured out yet as far as how we're going to sell. That's something for down the road, yes. But right now, kind of just doing, using it for promotional ideas. Hey, you got an album that you want out? Let's bring this beer in, name it after your album, and then we'll bring it to your listening party for your CD release.
Very cool.
Trying to bring that concept together. We've had a couple things towards that idea. We want to call them ear tastings. And I think,
I like
yeah. And so it's just going to basically, bring in together either, if we have a whole, band that has an album together that we mixed and put together, great. If we only have some compilations of certain things we've been working on, whether it's radio, whether it's corporate stuff, whatever we want to record, whatever we can get to record, we'll put those on as compilations as well and just have everybody take a listen. Take a drink, see how you like the beers, and get feedback. The biggest thing at that point in time is get feedback so we can figure out what we're going to hone in as far as for our recipes.
Okay, cool. And your types of beers, do you have anything like special or trying anything different than any other brewing company that's out there?
We just did one that we first when we started, and we've been doing brewing off and on for like a year now plus. Actually, my buddies have been doing it longer than I have. I've been kind of just in this for about a year now.
All right.
And we didn't really hit it hard until about the beginning of December here. So before then, we were kind of doing a lot of kits, just pre-made recipe kits that, nothing crazy. But then you kind of amend those kits. Well, let's try with these hops versus the Williamette hops. Let's try with the German Spalt. Let's not use the plain wheat dry malt extract here. Let's see how it does it with the dark wheat. And just kind of go off from that. Well, rather than just amending it, one day we had a bunch of extra ingredients, just grains, just a couple weeks ago here. And I'm just brainstorming. Came up with a chocolate wheat. So we're going to see how that turns out yet. We haven't gotten it yet. We got to bottle it this week yet, and then figure out how that's going to turn out about 3 weeks after that from the bottling conditioning. But I'm really excited for that one.
That's very cool, very cool. I like the chocolate wheat. That sounds...
Yeah, it's super dark. It's probably the darkest looking beer we've had coming out. But it, I'm sure with the wheat on top of that, it's going to have that kind of light, almost Blue Moony taste to it. But, it was to have that concept, but then with like a chocolate tinge, and then we're going to try it. That's the coolest thing about all this is that, as much as I love recording and love doing things like that, I also love beer and I love brewing. And it's just chemistry. It's like cooking, like what can we put together to see what comes out next. It's great.
And I saw you post something up the other day online, and it was saying 6 for 3.
We actually just came up with this idea the other day, and this is on a need basis. And I want to do more of these because, we're coming to that point where we need to bottle all these brews to, again, have for promotional ideas. If we can, we just want to honestly spread the idea of our brews, see how people like them first, get the feedback, and then we're going to keep moving from there as far as whether we make it to full-on brewery or whether we kind of just become home brewing connoisseurs and try and maybe start teaching classes or something to that effect. So in that case, we are out of bottles. We had that chocolate wheat. We got to put together. We got to get it in bottles. And so this Friday we were like, well, we need to bottle that. And it came to the point of, crap, we're out of bottles. We don't have anything to do. So that morning I was thinking, he goes, we need to just have people come over, bring 6-packs, and we'll give them some home brews or something. And I was like, dude, we need to just start a program like that. And so here's the idea here now on this interview here. It's a big thing going out. Is the idea that we want to have some get-togethers, probably once a month. Shucks, even once every 2 weeks if we can. Got to figure out the venue. It might even just be at my house for the meanwhile. But yeah, buy a 6-pack of Pop Top, brown bottles, New Glairs. I believe Alesheim still has the Pop Tops. I think Capital Brewery turned to the Twist Tops. But any recycled brown Pop Tops that we can get, we need them, right?
Okay.
So buy your 6-pack of New Glairs, buy whatever you can, bring it over. We'll have a party. We'll get some drinks on, right? We'll empty those bottles. And in the meantime, when you do that, we'll give you 3 more of our home brews at that point in time to take home with you. So it's kind of like, buy 6-pack, get 3 back. Like that's the way I'm going to put it at that point in time.
Very cool.
I'm hoping that'll catch. We only did it. We came up with it the day before we tried it, and we only had a couple people show up. We got a good 24 case down between a few of us, but I think that program could definitely take off. I like the idea, anyways. I'm going to keep expounding on it at this point in time.
That's a very cool idea. And looking at your recording side of the business, you guys you're a traveling recording studio.
Correct. Yeah.
How far will you travel?
Well, if the price is right, I'll travel to Florida if you need me to. Basically, right now we got a 16 input, just some Focusrite Sapphire Pros that we got a couple of those. So we have the option of grabbing more inputs in. We got a tube mic pre that we kind of use for vocals a lot of times, and so we bring all this gear to you. Again, 16 inputs. We got a mic cabinet, just a big old Pelican thing. And recording the comfort of your home, the comfort of your practice space. Trying to get that creative flow to stay there. I notice a lot of times, especially with up-and-coming bands, you get them in a studio, they kind of clam up. So our idea is to get it to you and go about that way. Now, very cheap. The only thing that we say in the Madison area here, we'll do it for $10 for the equipment per hour, $10 per engineer per hour. So if you got a big drum set, it's probably a good idea to have 2 engineers. But it's still $30 an hour. That's not crazy. When we get outside the Madison area, we are going to start having to charge for mileage rates, and that's kind of the idea of how far will I travel. Well, if you're going to pay me the 40 cents on the mile, I'll travel wherever the heck you need me to.
Okay, cool.
So that's kind of our situation now. At this point in time, we haven't had a bunch come in. I'd like to. So again, more people. If you need recordings, anything ever done, sound, radio plays, commercials that you need shot, anything, we'll do it. But. We got a full-fledged band coming in the middle of May here. We do have the studio space that we're working with also, Sick Mind Studios.
Okay.
Jack McWilliams, he's rocking some stuff up there in DeForest, so he has been generous enough to lend us out on an on-need basis per hour. So that's kind of nice too. So studio recording, it's just $10 more an hour, honestly. You need 2 engineers, you're looking at $40 an hour for studio recording. So all ends covered, because we have come across the point where you get to a band that has a really super tiny practice space, and that just isn't going to work for recording.
Yep.
I mean, unless they already have scratch tracks up, you can make it work, but it's a lot of time at that point in time, and for the artist at that point, it's a lot easier to just get in studio space, and it's kind of it's a nice spot. It's really homey. It's nice and open. They got a lot of good equipment in there, and he's doing a lot of good stuff to get it up and going. I think they're starting to record stuff now. Actually, they're up and already rolling. So.
All right, thanks, Randy. This is RJ with a bit of randomness here with Randy from Purple Haus. One hell of a mutant of a business.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.